elected in that direction. The next panel is Richard Noose, Katie Haim, Cynthia Daugherty, Molly Cherish, Jennifer Madrid, Lucy Netherton. They will be followed by Kevin Jennings, Jessica Kahn, Christy Huckabee, Sheila Fling, Brianna Huckabee, Christine Gilbert. Before we begin, Senator West is used for what purpose? You want her back? Ms. America, would you mind coming back to the podium? Senator West has a, I'm sure, very brief, concise questions you can ask. Yes, sir.
You are a law professor at UT?
I'm an adjunct.
Okay.
I do not work there full-time. I'm full-time employed by Sedgwick, which is a law firm at 10th Congress.
What type of law do you practice?
I do construction, commercial, and some First Amendment law.
And you made mention to the Arizona case. Have you reviewed that case?
I have. It's Isaacson versus Horn. It was reported by the Ninth Circuit on May the 21st.
Okay.
And it says that under all existing...
Hold on. I just asked you to review the case. That's all I asked.
I knew I should be marvelous to recognize the lawyer to ask the lawyer question.
I'm going to home in on it. You said that it was declared unconstitutional based on the same grounds as this particular legislation. Did I understand you correctly?
The 20-week prohibition was declared unconstitutional under existing Supreme Court precedent.
Under existing, okay, and that was the Ninth Circuit.
It was the Ninth Circuit.
And you would agree, though, that the Ninth Circuit is frequently overturned by the Supreme Court?
They are, but that doesn't mean they're wrong.
So they may not always be right, but they're never wrong.
Well, no, I'm going to say they're not always wrong. And there are other courts that have been overturning similar statutes that have all been enacted recently.
Are the circuits?
No federal appellate courts, but I believe district courts.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Senator West. Richard Nixon. There we go.
Senator West, my drill sergeant said the same thing. He's not always right, but he's never wrong. My name is Richard Noose. I'm from District 9, and I live in Arlington, and Kelly Hancock is my senator. I am here to testify for the bill, and I'm going to give a small list of reasons. I stand for Texas women. I've seen a lot of people with shirts on that stand for Texas women. I have a wife, 2 daughters, 5 granddaughters, 3 sisters, 2 nieces, 2 sisters-in-law, all in Texas, all opposed to this, all opposed to abortion. With respect to pain, Dr. Paul Ranelli from the University of Toronto has given expert testimony about pain of the 20, in fact it was earlier than that, 18 weeks, that they hear sound, they feel pain, and react to the slightest pressure. I do believe that if this whole panel would see and watch an abortion, and with a sonogram, that they would all see the baby react, painfully react, pull away. I'm a biologist, and I have seen even dead animals react to pain, where they will push and move, but they're completely dead. Personal responsibility. There seems to be very, very little discussion of that around here. America is going to hell in a handbasket based on the number of abortions that are happening in this country right now. I am a sinner saved by the grace of God. I am no saint, and I have many friends and people in my past that will attest to that. But what's going on in this country right now is a reduction of religion in this country, a reduction of our love for God. Out there, I mean, Alexis de Tocqueville, almost 200 years ago, said that America is a good country. It is good because it's a moral and religious country. And I'll leave with that.
Thank you, Mr. New. Katie Haim.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Katie Haim, and I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm represented by Senator Watson. I wrote you guys a little poem to maybe break it up a little for you. So here we go.
Thank you for that. We needed
no problem. If my vagina was a gun, you would stand for its rights. You would ride on buses and fight all the fights. If my vagina was a gun, you would treat it with care. You wouldn't spill all its secrets because, well, why go there? If my vagina was a gun, you'd say what it holds is private. From cold dead hands we could pry, you surely would riot. If my vagina was a gun, its rights would all be protected, no matter the body count or the children affected. If my vagina was a gun, I could bypass security. Concealed carry laws would ensure that I had purity. If my vagina was a gun, I wouldn't have to beg you. I could hunt this great land and do all the things that men do. But my vagina's not a gun. It's a mightier thing, with a voice that rings true, making lawmakers' ears ring. Vaginas aren't delicate. They are muscular and magic. So stop messing with mine with legislation that's tragic. My vagina is here to demand from the source. Listen to the voices of thousands or feel their full force.
Ms. Daugherty?
Thank you. My name is Cynthia Daugherty. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and I'm represented by Senator Donna Campbell. And I had no plans on speaking today, so this will probably be emotional. I was compelled to come here, so this is from my heart. I've heard a lot of interviews this last week about what are our old women doing here. I'm going to be 59 very shortly. And I was the product of Roe versus Wade, at the beginning. And a lot of people, like, we're not having babies anymore. Well, this doesn't affect, and they say this doesn't affect them. Well, it has been 40 years since Roe versus Wade, and we were those young women going to the clinics. If I would have had access to counseling and sonograms of my baby, it would be alive today. My doctor told me it's just another form of birth control. My first child was born 1 year before Roe versus Wade, thank God. I never thought of killing my baby. It was against the law at that time, but I was living under man's law. And unfortunately, she died in my arms 3 years later. I've lost a child in the womb and outside of the womb. Don't let the lies spoken about, it's no big deal, destroy another woman or child.
Thank you for being here. Ms. Cherish?
My name is Molly Cherish. I'm a constituent of Senator Kirk Watson. I'm representing myself, and I oppose SB 1. I chose to live in Texas. I chose to get pregnant in Texas, and I chose to have my fetus transition into a baby in Texas, and I hope to raise that baby in Texas. On a very personal note, sorry, she made me cry also. I've never in my life heard so many women have to say, I was raped, but I was lucky I didn't get pregnant. I hope to never hear this phrase again, but today, in solidarity, I would like to say I was raped, but I was lucky I didn't get pregnant. I do not want an abortion ever. I do, however, have a constitutional right to an abortion, and I want that right protected. And when legislators want to limit my access to this constitutional right, I want to know why. And I expect them to be willing and able to answer questions about why they think they know more about ensuring the health and safety of Texas women than Texas women and their doctors. When they are repeatedly unwilling or unable to intelligently answer questions regarding these restrictions that they propose to my constitutional rights, it assures me that they do not know better than us. We are listening to you very carefully. The world is watching you cheat. Not today, Chairwoman Nelson, you're keeping it very classy. I, as a woman, as a mother, and as a Texas voter, choose to stand up and fight this fight for as long as it takes, and I don't think that I am alone. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And this is the most beautiful thing I have seen all day long. With a blue and an orange holding hands.
Our Creator loves us unconditionally, and we love everybody.
Thank you. I never cried hearing Jennifer Madrid.
My name is Jennifer Madrid. I'm here from Temple. I'm represented by Troy Frazier, and I am here in support of this bill. I was raped, and I did have an abortion. Traumatized, scared, pregnant, and feeling societal pressure because I conceived in rape, I chose abortion. My choice was intensely painful because my biological mother in '69, when faced with her own crisis pregnancy, placed me in a good family through adoption. A friend and I made the 8-hour round trip from our small West Texas campus to a metropolitan abortion facility and back in the same day, no problem. While there, I wasn't screened or asked for medical records. I was pressured by the staff to go through with it, even as I voiced my doubts. 40 to 50 of us were herded like cattle into a long, narrow hallway to wait for our procedure. I wanted to back out, but the hallway packed with young women caused me to feel trapped. I had no anesthesia. The doctor barely spoke to me. I wasn't told I could report a complication. I never knew his name. He never even looked me in the eye. Back at school that evening, I was completely unprepared for what I'd see. Parts of my baby the abortion had left behind. I couldn't stop looking. I couldn't deny or excuse what I had done to this tiny, helpless human being. Being forcibly raped was horribly traumatic, but it was nothing compared to this. I spent 19 days in the hospital with major depression and suicidal thoughts. For nearly 25 years, my husband and I have spent well over $100,000 battling psychological and multiple physical health problems related to my abortion. It's affected my marriage, and it's affected my 3 precious live children. A scared teenage girl, I lied to friends and family and covered up my rape and pregnancy. I didn't involve my doctor or my family at all. The freedom I was given by my country to make this important decision without professional or other loving help, without the facts regarding my options, fetal development, or risks, and without the important people in my life was not freedom at all, it was neglect.
Ms. Madrid, thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Netherton?
Thank you. My name is Lucy Netherton. I'm from Austin. I'm a constituent of Kirk Watson's. I'm here today to speak against SB 1 as proposed by Senator Hager. It is clear to me that SB 1 is in violation of federal law. Although Ms. Merica already stole my thunder, I want to say that Idaho's fetal pain law, which outlawed abortion services after 20 weeks of pregnancy, was struck down by the courts this spring. It was found by the courts that such a fetal pain restriction places an undue burden on a woman seeking to have an abortion, which is a direct violation of women's constitutional rights. And in this case, the federal judge also criticized Idaho's GOP-dominated legislature for allowing protections for fetuses to outweigh women's right to choose, stating the state may not rely on its interest in the potential life of the fetus to place a substantial obstacle to abortion before viability in women's paths. If Senator Hager stated in SB 1, if there is a compelling state interest in protecting the lives of unborn children from the state of viability, then why doesn't the state of Texas provide widespread and easily accessible birth control, which has been found by the World Health Organization as the most effective way to decrease the abortion rate? You see, it is obvious to me that even a blonde can see that SB 1 will not reduce the number of abortions in Texas. It will only reduce the number of safe abortions in Texas. Thank you so much for letting us all speak today.
Thank you for being here that way, and I have to tell you too, thank you. You renew my faith in Texans of all stripes.